Hello, 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 everybody. It is Feel Good Friday, and I'm here today to talk with you about how to go from fatigued to being in flow. How does that sound to everybody? Who would like to get out of fatigue and into flow? And as you come in here, please let me know, what do you think causes your fatigue? What causes you the most fatigue? Go ahead and put a comment in the comments here to let me know what you see as the thing that is causing you the most fatigue in your life. All right, so it is Friday. I've got my headset on because we have a trench being dug right outside my window here. So I'm going to just work around that. And as we get started, again, as you come in, just let me know what causes the most fatigue to you in your life. When you think about fatigue, first of all, your mind might automatically go to something physical, to being out of shape, to not having gotten enough sleep, to being overstressed, maybe a hormonal imbalance or a condition that you feel is draining you, mitochondrial issues, viruses, Lyme disease, all this kinds of thing. This is the physical symptoms of fatigue. All right, it's part of the picture. It's definitely real. I'm not saying it's not real, but it is a physical symptom that exists only because there was an environment or a medium where that dis-ease or imbalance could occur. And there's something deeper that is really the root cause of fatigue. So when you're fatigued, it is a matter of your energy flow being blocked. It's being pinched. You could think of it like a pinched nerve in your back or something. What happens when you pinch off a nerve? Nothing works. There's no communication cellularly in your body, energetically with the field, with all living things. That communication is pinched off. The same way it would be with a nerve, it is with your energy, because there is a path of life force energy that flows to you and through you and back out again. And it's the medium or the environment that when you keep it clear and open, that energy, life force flow can flow through you. And when you don't, it creates an environment that is prone to all those physical symptoms of fatigue that I spoke of. So today I'm going to talk about how to keep that environment flowing, because otherwise you're in a stressed situation, a fatigue situation, an overwhelmed, depressed, anxious, all of those things. Those are the symptoms that there's something going on blocking your energy flow. So here's the thing. Science shows us 99% of our body is space, and the other 1% is not solid. It is electric. It is nothing but electrical impulses between molecules and atoms and exchange of this energy. And energy must flow. Otherwise, you do have imbalance and disease in an environment that creates not only physical ailments inside of you, but creates imbalance outside of you, because your external world is a reflection of your internal world. So energy must flow. We know this from quantum physics. We know this from epigenetics. And when that energy is pinched off, you will have an environment that's going to create. Be sure to comment if you're watching. I want to hear what you believe in your life causes you the most fatigue. But when that energy is pinched off, you will be prone to all of those kinds of issues that I started out with this morning. So the big question is, how do you manage your energy flow and make sure that you're not pinching it off? The biggest way that you manage energy flow is through your thoughts and through your emotions. Now, there's a behavior sequence, and my clients that are listening in know this so well. There's a behavior sequence that is responsible for what you create and experience in your life. And it goes like this. It goes from beliefs to thoughts to emotions to the actions that you take. These are your habits. This is what you do. And then that results in the creation that you get, in the experience that you get. So when your energy flow is pinched off, there's a breakdown in that sequence, and it's in the thought and the emotion realm. The biggest thing that squeezes off your energy is resistance. All the time, every single moment, every breath, you're doing one of two things, energetically speaking. You're either building momentum of flow, or you're building momentum of resistance. And you build this momentum of resistance through what you're thinking and what you're feeling, which of course stems from your belief, but we're going to stay in the present moment. What you're thinking and what you're feeling determines if you're building a momentum of flow or a momentum of resistance. You wouldn't be fatigued if you had no resistance to life. That's plain and simple. Okay, and since thought creates our emotion and resistance, you can focus on your energy flow and keeping that flow going by becoming more aware of your thoughts and then redirecting your thoughts. You do have the power to choose your thought. And if you can't redirect it, if that feels difficult, which it does at first, simply be aware of the thought that would be pinching off your energy flow and release it. Then you can build your way up to replacing it with a different thought. So I want to give you some of the top examples so that you can build your awareness muscle of where you're pinching off your own energy flow and causing your fatigue. Here are some of the top types of thoughts that I see that are resistant. Now there's many, many more, right? In our Vibrant Women program with women I coach, there's new thoughts that come up all the time. In fact, I added to just a second ago based on a conversation that I was having this morning. But here's some really, really common examples. And I want you to write these down because today I want you to practice that awareness muscle throughout the day. And so get a little sticky pad or something or put it into your phone, but write these down so that you can become aware anytime today that you're having a thought like the things I'm about to name. So number one, conflicted intention. So what is that? That looks like I want to start a business, and then but. I want to get on stages and speak, but. I want to spend more time with my children, but. I want to take better care of myself, have stronger self-care practices, but. Whenever the justifications, the evidence of why you can't do what you just said you wanted, that's a conflicted intention. So releasing those justifications in any moment, just like you're either building momentum of flow or you're building momentum of resistance and closing everything off. And by the way, this affects you down to the cellular level. When you're in resistance, you will not even be able to absorb nutrition into your cells. That's how locked down tight you are when you're in resistance. And you do this one way through justifying why you can't have what you want. Because when you're in flow, you can have what you want. You can attract everything, endless possibilities. But we have this human tendency, the minute we say we want something, is to pull back and say, but. I'd like to do that, but. So notice where you're justifying and where you're actually looking for evidence and proof that you can't have it, defending that you can't have it, instead of defending that it's your birthright to have it, okay? That's number one resistant thought. Number two is complaining. Complaining about anything, complaining about other people, complaining about politics, complaining about yourself. That pinches off that flow of energy. Now, you can have desire to make change in the world, but take action. Don't complain about it. Focus on what you want in the world. Don't focus on what you don't want. That was a beautiful philosophy of life that Mother Teresa had. She would always say that she is for things. She is not against anything. And I agree. I am for things. I'm not against any particular politics or anything we see going on in the world. I am for other things in the world. So be for things. Don't complain about anything. Pinches off your energy flow. Number three, comparing. Oh, this person did something better than I. How could I do, this wasn't enough. Any of those kinds of comparative thoughts, put a stop to your energy flow just like that. Number four, not following your self-loving impulses. Now, and please do comment as you come in. Let me know what you're thinking about what I'm saying, but also what you believe causes you the most fatigue in your life. So not following self-loving impulses. You have impulses all the time that is your higher power and your intuition talking to you. Now, the reason I put self-loving in there is because there can be impulses like addiction to food, addiction to sugar, addiction to arguing, things like that. Those are not self-loving impulses. Those are not the impulses that I'm speaking of, but the self-loving impulses. I should call a friend and check on her today. I should help out this stranger. I should create a new movement in the world. Those little whispers that are your impulses, that is higher power spirit talking through you. And if you don't follow through, if you don't engage and take some action toward that and honor it and acknowledge it, you're again closing off your energy flow. So number 5 is not accepting that situations are neutral. So in other words, thinking absolutely anything is not okay. I'm behind. This shouldn't be happening. There's something wrong with me. I shouldn't have done it that way. Any of those kinds of judgments about the present moment, again, cut off your energy flow. So in order to release your energy flow, accept everything. Know that everything is okay. Whatever is happening is just a neutral experience. Next one, trying to force things to happen versus allowing them to happen, versus going with the flow of life. Now, you can still have things that you'd like to create and stay focused on it, but this is more about enjoying the act of creating versus evaluating the outcome and judging it if it isn't what you thought up here with the ego mind that it should be. Next way that you cut off your energy flow and create fatigue, worrying. Worrying. If there is something that situations are neutral, but let's say I've got something going on in my family that is a bit challenging or something like that, the last thing that I do, honestly, is share it on Facebook, because people will write, sending prayers, sending prayers. Most people, when they say sending prayers, they're actually worrying. And I'm very aware that I don't want worrying energy in my life, because worrying is actually like praying for what you don't want. So worrying cuts off your energy flow. Next one, being too serious. Life is meant, you hear me say this all the time, life is meant to be enjoyed and you are meant to feel good. That is the natural flow. So let go, release, play with possibility, be curious, but don't be serious. And I've got 2 more. These are the 2 that came up this morning in a conversation, so I wanted to add them. One is thinking that something is too much. Oh, there's too much coming at me all at one time. No, there's not. If you're resisting and thinking it's too much, then it will be challenging and it will fatigue you and it will cut off your energy flow. But instead, if you just open yourself, let that energy come into you and then through you, into you and then through you. Get up to speed with the abundance of incredible energy that is trying to get in and pass through you. And then lastly, thinking that you don't have a choice. We have ultimate choice. We have ultimate choice. Situations are neutral, and we can choose to do whatever we want to do from there. And especially the most powerful part, we can choose our perception. So starting today, here's what I want you to do. I want you to be very aware of these types of thoughts. I hope you've written them down so that throughout the day, a couple times, maybe you even set some phone reminders. I'm looking to see if I've got a comment there. Maybe you even set a phone reminder to check in and reread the list and think, have I been thinking this way at all today? There's also, any time one of those thoughts comes up or any resistant thought, there's usually a physical clue that happened even before the resistance. And that could be something like, one of mine, it used to be holding my breath, or it might be tapping your toe or something nervously, or it could be that you're tense up in your neck or your shoulders, or maybe you check out with food, you numb with food, but there's usually something physical that happens in your body even before you realize that you're having that thought. So get to recognize that physical clue. So notice the thought, the awareness. Even before that, maybe you have a physical clue, then simply all you have to do is redirect your own mind. And if it is challenging to starting out to redirect it to the opposite, then just release it. Just acknowledge, oh, I was thinking that I have too much to do today. I'm going to release that thought. I'm willing to invite flow. You could say something like that. I'm willing to invite flow. Everything that's coming at me is for a reason. Or just release that thought. Just redirect the mind. How many times do you have to do that? Well, neuroscience would say we have 70,000 to 90,000 thoughts a day, and we're probably aware of 5% of those. Start with the 5% and build from there. And a couple last tricks. So I mentioned redirecting the thought by just saying, I'm willing to receive, I'm willing to invite. Another thing you can say is just acknowledge what that thought was about. Today, things didn't turn out how I wanted them to be. And then add 3 little words at the end, and it's okay. This is whatever is happening. Acknowledge it if you're thinking about it, especially if you're worrying about it, and add, and it's okay. And you can also, last one, say, acknowledge it. This blew up in my face, whatever it was. Isn't that interesting? And it's okay, and isn't that interesting? So practice that out today. I would love to hear what you find in your mind as you increase your awareness. And I'm here to support you. So go ahead and put your situations. If you're struggling, if this feels hard at all, write your situations in the comments and I'll absolutely reply. Be easy about your day today. Be in flow, and it'll be an amazing experience. Have a great, great Friday, and I'll see you soon.